6 months. That's all it took. 6 months. And Thomas Frank is out at Tottenham Hotspur. Let that sink in. A manager who signed a contract until 2028. Gone before some players even finished unpacking their boxes. Nah, you can't script this club. Tuesday night, Tottenham 1, Newcastle 2. Home crowd restless, boos louder than the final whistle. And that was it. The final straw. Spurs sitting 16th in the league. Not mid-table. Not rebuilding in 9th. 16th. For a club that just ended a 17-year trophy drought not long ago, this is chaos. Let's rewind for a second. Thomas Frank wasn't some random appointment. This was the Brentford mastermind. The calm, analytical Dane who turned the Bees from championship hopefuls into a respected Premier League side. Tactically sharp, organised, overachiever energy. When Spurs hired him, the idea was simple. Stability, long-term vision, project rebuild. The contract ran until 2028. They told us to trust the process. 6 months later, process trusted nobody. 7 wins in 26 league games, 8 draws, 11 losses, a 26.9% win rate. That's not bad luck. That's a system failing to breathe. And the home form, 2 league wins in 13 matches at home. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium used to be loud, hostile, emotional. Now it feels like a therapy session. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. Pochettino, around 54% win rate over nearly 5 seasons. At his peak, above 60%. Jose Mourinho, even with all the dressing room tension, still posted above 51%. Antonio Conte, roughly 53%. Postecoglou, despite defensive chaos and fan frustration, hovering in the high 40s. Thomas Frank, 26.9. You don't survive that math. And here's the part that hurts. This wasn't just about numbers. The football never felt alive. Spurs fans can accept losing. They've lived through heartbreak, but they won't accept boredom, the lack of attacking flair, the inability to control games against weaker sides, getting slapped 4-1 by Arsenal, rivals smelling blood, domestic cups, early exit. Champions League? Yeah, they reached the playoff stage, but nobody's realistically expecting a deep run. And qualification for next season looks like a fantasy. This wasn't spiraling quietly. It was unraveling in public. And here's the wildest part. This is Tottenham's 5th permanent manager since Pochettino left in 2019. 5. That's not a rebuild. That's a carousel. And guess who's suddenly a leading candidate to return? Mauricio Pochettino. You can't make this up. It's like Spurs broke up with their best ex, dated 3 dramatic personalities, tried the stable guy, and now they're texting you up at 2 a.m. Football heritage or toxic cycle? You decide. Here's my honest take. Thomas Frank isn't a bad manager. He proved that at Brentford, but Tottenham isn't Brentford. At Brentford, structure over stars works. At Spurs, you have expectations. History, ego, pressure. You can't slowly grow here. You either ignite something immediately, or the stadium swallows you whole. And maybe, just maybe, Spurs themselves are the bigger problem. Look at the pattern. Different managers, different styles, different personalities, same instability. At some point, you stop blaming the driver and question the engine. Now the names floating around: Pochettino, Oliver Glasner, Xabi Alonso, Marco Silva. Each one tells a different story. Poch is emotion and nostalgia. Glasner is structure and European pedigree. Xabi Alonso, that would be a statement. A bold, modern identity move. Marco Silva, solid, organized, Premier League tested. But here's the real question. Does any manager survive long-term at Tottenham right now? Because if the culture above the dugout doesn't change, the next guy might just be episode 6 of the same series. Thomas Frank leaves with professionalism. No drama, no meltdown. The club thanked him politely, wished him well. But make no mistake, this was a collapse. 6 months ago, he was the future. Today, he's a statistic. Spurs? They're still searching for identity. So I want to hear from you. Was sacking Thomas Frank the right decision? Or is Tottenham repeating the same mistake again? And if you're Daniel Levy right now, who are you calling first? Pochettino? Or do you gamble on someone completely new? Drop your thoughts below, because one thing is clear. North London isn't calm. It's cooking.